What's up, YouTube? This is Roy,
And this is Joey.
and we're from Third Duelist, and today we're going to be discussing why Ice Hand and Fire Hand are no longer any good.
I personally don't really like the hands. I never liked them to begin with. I thought they were really powerful back in Hat Geargia format, which is what I'm going to call the format for Duelist Alliance. And you just saw them in everything. You're obviously playing them in Hat, playing them in Geargia, and people were calling for these guys to get limited and things like that. And they just kind of died off after Duelist Alliance. And I personally think that it's for a multitude of reasons. One being that they destroy, which is terrible. You don't want to destroy anything in this current meta. And the other being the resources. Okay, so back Hat Geargia format, you don't want to draw a lot of your stuff. You just want to special from decks. So you don't have a ridiculous amount of resources like the decks that came out of the last Duelist Alliance and Cliff Forts and things like that. So you don't have the resources. You didn't have the resources back then. So the hands being able to blow stuff up and special summon another one was really good because neither of you have as much stuff you can do. You can't replace things. You couldn't replace things as easily, as easily by far. Like it's so much harder to do things. So the hands were so good because they could replace themselves and they generated you advantage when advantage was harder to come by. Now with these new decks, you have free advantage everywhere. Shaddoll's, Burning Abyss, they're just not fast enough anymore. I don't think because you just generate so much advantage with an archetype. You don't really need to tech the hands anymore.
I kind of agree with a lot of the points you're making. However, I like using them in the rank 4 spam decks that I run because they are rank 4s and they can be an out to certain cards. And they're mostly side deck fodder. Like, if I need to side something, that's usually what I go for first is the hands. And I always try to have something in the deck that I can side out. And I feel like the hands are a good choice because they can beat out certain things. Ice Hand I feel like is better than Fire Hand because back row destruction is still key, and the back row doesn't really float like the monsters do. So,
Except Fire Lake.
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to talk about Fire Lake. That's.
But yeah, if I'm playing against something like, especially Yang Zings, I'm definitely siding these out because, I mean, there's no point in running these in there. But yeah, destruction is kind of bad this format, and they're also kind of slow and they're reactive. But I still like them because they're level 4. If they were any other level, then I would just hate them. But I love including them in Madolches. I like them in Geargia. I like them in Cracking Mirror. Like they're good in certain decks, but they're just too slow and too reactive for them to be as OP as they once were thought of.
See, I think I need to clarify. I'm not saying the hands are bad. I never thought the hands were bad. I played them in some things for a little bit, but the hands they just don't get it done for me. I feel like they could, like, I agree with you that they're good side deck fodder where you can side them out all the time, but like what matchups are you going to want to have them in the first place in the meta? I mean, Shaddall, no. You don't want to blow up any other stuff. Burning Abyss, no. Don't want to blow up any of their stuff. Cliff Fort, I can see the reason to want to blow up their stuff, but you see they have this thing called Vanity's Emptiness. Can't do the special summon thing. So it's,
what's really funny is...
Well, Ice Hand gets around it, because Ice Hand's going to pop it. Anyway, hands just... They're powerful cards, but I don't think they need to be hit. I feel like they're fine at 3. I feel like Reborn Tengu needs to come to 3 if these floaters are going to be at 3, but that's another topic. But I feel like they're still main deckable, but not in a lot of decks. I feel like there's a few decks that can play them well, and that's about it. It's not like the last format where all the meta was playing hands, and it's just not. They're way too splashable, that format.
Do you feel like there's going to be more play with the hands if Shaddolls main them when they get their water fusion?
Yeah, I feel like Shaddolls would Shaddoll's would play them with water fusion. Like some people might make Shat, which is Shaddoll Hat, because then you'd have the Traptrix engine would be your Earths, and then the Wind Fusion sucks, so you're not gonna want to play Winds. And the hands would cover that, and I mean people are already playing artifacts in Shaddoll, so I could see that being a thing. But until then, I don't see them getting too much play in the higher tiers.
Do you guys have any opinions on whether the hands are still as OP as they once were, or if they'll ever come back to being as good as they were? Or if you hate them and don't think they should have been a thing, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe.